right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
From the Metro East to the major leagues, the woman breaking barriers as a scout.
Stevie, start to the work week. We're tracking more storm chances over the next couple of days.
10 shootings in a matter of days.
I've never been around nothing like that before, so that was a crazy experience.
With crime concerns on the rise, what police say they're doing to keep the streets safe.
Another violent weekend across the city. A shooting outside a North St. Louis bar, just one of 10 shootings in St. Louis since Friday. Police say 3 people died, more than a dozen others injured. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. During one of those crimes, 6 people were shot outside Playground Bar and Grill last night. 5 on Your Side's Robert Townsend is looking into it.
Kelly and Mike, thankfully nobody was killed during all that gunfire. Now it happened outside the bar and grill and near Fairground Park, where police tell us they have been called many times before.
704, we're getting a report of multiple victims for the shooting at 3735 KSDK.
The emergency call went out just after 10 Sunday night. 6 people, 4 men and 2 women, shot outside Playground Bar and Grill on KSDK Avenue near North Grand.
It was multiple shots ongoing, back to back, for 10 minutes.
Police say they found more than 100 shell casings at the scene. This woman was sitting on her porch with her child when the gunshots popped off.
It was shots going off, and so once I heard the shots, I ran in the house.
The startled mom asked us to not show her face.
It's hard to believe. It's crazy.
Police found 3 victims shot in the street, 2 inside the bar. Another victim was taken to a hospital before officers arrived.
Of the 6 victims shot, 2 are convicted felons and 2 are documented gang members. Knowing people with the highest propensity for violence, carrying guns, known to each other, is sometimes a recipe for disaster.
So far this year, police have been called to the business 19 times.
St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department is working with problem properties and other stakeholders to address issues at this establishment.
Chief Tracy says crime is down, along with the number of officers currently patrolling the streets.
I fairly distribute police officers throughout the city because I can't just put them in one place.
We're constantly having to figure out how do we combat gun violence in our community.
Police say the 6 shooting victims were still in the hospital as of this morning. All of them are expected to recover. So far, no arrests. If you have any information, call St. Louis Police.
School is out and summer is in full swing, which often means more gun violence. It also means more teens are involved. There are curfew laws in St. Louis, but there are plenty of loopholes. Our Laura Barczewski is live downtown to explain. Laura.
Mike, there are already a couple of curfews on the books, but are they working? Are they being enforced? How do we stop gun violence? All these questions come up over and over again, and unfortunately, the experts say there really aren't any straightforward answers. In the city of St. Louis, there are 2 main curfews. One is for city parks. No one is allowed to be in the park between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. And there's another curfew for kids and teens. On Friday and Saturday, they can't be out on the streets unsupervised between midnight and 5 a.m. For the rest of the week, teens can't be out between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. Sharon Williams with St. Louis Moms Demand Action says people can always find a way around curfews.
I think because we have so many teens who are unsupervised during the evening time that I don't think a curfew will make much difference.
In the current law, there are some exceptions. Teens or kids can be out past curfew if they're with a parent, guardian, or someone over the age of 21. Williams says it's difficult to know what's going on because teens plan things through social media.
A lot of times the parents or those who are their guardians don't have any idea of what's being planned.
The biggest question is, do curfews work? SLU Criminology Assistant Professor Kenya Brumfield-Young says it's hard to know exactly how it's enforced and the data tracking it is scarce.
But from what is available, it doesn't. For several reasons. One of them is often behavior displacement. So they may go somewhere where the curfews look different or where there's not curfews. And also, these activities don't have boundaries.
Brumfield-Young says every year crime goes up in the summer for several reasons. One being young people don't always have a safe, stable home. The shortage of officers doesn't help either. On Monday, the city released the latest information on youth summer programs, job opportunities, and even put more funding into the rec centers to keep them open late on weekends.
But if we don't have any effective measures in place for them to to do things at the recreation site, then it's just an open building.
To make these alternatives to crime work, the conversation can't just be between the adults. Brumfield Young says teens need a seat at the table.
Ask them a bit more of what they want and how they can see wanting to spend time with their friends and things like that, because that's really what a lot of it comes down to.
The city posted today all of the information on these summer programs and job opportunities, and we've gathered all of that for you on KSDK.com. Reporting downtown, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
We got a taste of it all today. Heat, humidity, and scattered showers.
And some of us had wind. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell has been tracking it all in the Weather First Weather Center.
You know, those showers and thunderstorms developed this afternoon down to our south, and then the wind blew in with that gust front out ahead of the storms. Then we had a brief downpour, and then it moved on. And that's pretty much what happened around most of the metro area this afternoon. It was pretty quick hitting, and then after that, things have settled down tonight. There's not much happening locally. At this point, we have a little disturbance back here into Oklahoma and Kansas, but even our cloud cover has thinned out a bit around St. Louis, and there's nothing showing up on the radar right now. It is still muggy in St. Louis. And with another disturbance to our west, perhaps as we head towards daybreak, we could see a few spot showers and thunderstorms try to develop again. Depending on what happens through the overnight and early morning hours tomorrow, that will then set the stage for what happens later tomorrow afternoon. So we still continue with that chance of some scattered thunderstorms for Tuesday. And a few of them could have downpours, just like we saw today. But Lambert only picked up 0.15 of an inch. Most of us didn't get a lot. It was just that quick hitting downpour. And there's a limited wind and hail threat tomorrow, too. It looks like it's especially higher as you go into northwest Missouri. We'll see in a few minutes. We'll talk about big changes for later in the week that you'll like.
Funeral services were held today for the 9-year-old girl killed in Jefferson County. Her mother confessed to killing Scarlett Parmalee and her 2-year-old brother Isaac last week. Tomorrow, Isaac will be laid to rest in a private funeral service. Ashley Parmalee is now charged with their murders.
People continue to protest the potential closure of several library branches in St. Charles County. Today, people gathered outside the newly renovated library at the Spencer Road branch in St. Peters as the future of the Deer Run, Kisker, and McClay branches remain uncertain, which means 64 positions could be cut. Library officials are citing revenue concerns, but community members feel like they're getting mixed messages.
I think that's part of the irony, I guess, is we're expanding and rebuilding and remodeling the libraries and spending millions of dollars on that, yet we're also talking about laying off employees and refusing to give them raises.
The board has tabled any decision for closures until June 18th.
The lawsuit challenging President Biden's second attempt at a student loan forgiveness plan was in a federal court today here in St. Louis. Former Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt's office sued over President Biden's first attempt, arguing the Missouri Higher Education Loan Authority would lose hundreds of millions of dollars in fees and interest from student loan borrowers. The Supreme Court agreed. This morning, Missouri government lawyers argued against President Biden's Plan B, which calls for expanding benefits to people in the private sector. Missouri's lawyers claim it would neutralize or negate a similar tuition benefit for workers who chose a career in public service. The debt forgiveness relief plan is scheduled to begin July 1st. Attorney General Bailey released a statement regarding his lawsuit challenging the president's plan. It reads in part, quote, "Today we faced off against President Biden in court as he ignores the Supreme Court's ruling that the president cannot unilaterally cancel student loan debt without congressional authority."
Well, the Cardinals took on the Astros tonight in Houston in the first game of their series.
And an Edwardsville native is helping the Redbirds' latest opponents with their scouting. Andy Kroll spoke to the young woman who is breaking barriers.
Mike and Kelly, naturally being from Edwardsville, Lauren Taplin grew up a Cardinals fan. Now she's the player personnel coordinator, hitting it out of the park with the Houston Astros.
It's kind of crazy to think of myself as something like that, but I'd love to be.
A young Cardinals fan meeting superstars like Albert Pujols with her twin and older brother. Lauren Taplin played softball at Edwardsville High School, plus basketball under beloved retired varsity coach Lori Blade.
So intelligent and understands both games, basketball, softball, really well. Just a love for athletics and spunky, just a very good kid that is an awesome person.
The 2018 Edwardsville graduate hit the gas like any of her favorite pitching prospects, studying sports administration at Ole Miss. Then worked at the Cape Cod Baseball League, the Mets, and now on the Astros player personnel team.
After being in baseball for a while, there's so many little different things. Like within player development, it gets really minuscule, and I really like the data aspect, and there's all different ways to try to get competitive advantages over teams.
Taplin isn't the only woman changing the face of front offices and baseball dugouts. 15 female coaches are with MLB organizations right now. Taplin cites her coach, Blade, with helping to build her confidence in such a league of her own.
When you get told no, just get right back up and get after it, because they shouldn't be able to tell you no. You know, if you find something you love and that you really have a passion for and want to do it.
They want to create successful teams, but they also want to create successful women, and women that will go and compete and take chances and go into the workforce and ready to compete in anything in life, whether it's basketball, softball, or real life things.
In the ultimate Edwardsville trivia fun fact for your Monday night, Lauren Taplin is friends with Kate Martin, the WNBA Las Vegas Aces rookie. Before Martin played at Iowa with Caitlin Clark, she was shooting hoops with Lauren Taplin.
Annie, thanks. Well, June is Pride Month, and celebrations are kicking off in both St. Louis City and County. Mayor Tashara Jones and other city leaders raised a flag outside of City Hall. And in Clayton, St. Louis County Executive Sam Page was joined by county employees to install flags in Memorial Park. You can join us this Thursday for the Gateway to Pride preview at the Missouri History Museum, celebrating the history of St. Louis's gay culture. Our own Jim Castillo and Travis Cummings will co-host. Happy Hour starts at 5. The program is at 6:30.
Cashing in on all those credit card perks.
The money is being spent on travel, so I might as well take advantage of the rewards.
Consumer Reports helps you find the credit card with the right fit to get you the best bang for your buck. All eyes are on a new plant at the Botanical Garden, and it is raising a bit of a stink when the corpse flower is expected to bloom.
Thunderstorms blossom for some of us Monday afternoon, and there are a few more chances to see rain before this muggy weather is pushed out when refreshing air returns to the bi-state area.
Dr. Anthony Fauci in the hot seat today on Capitol Hill. Dr. Fauci went before a Senate House Select Subcommittee investigating the coronavirus pandemic. Lawmakers are questioning the former head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease about the response to the COVID outbreak. Many on the panel focusing on social distancing and the origin of the virus.
I keep an open mind. I feel, based on the data that I have seen, that the more likely, not definitive, but the more likely explanation is a natural spillover from an animal reservoir.
Dr. Fauci also testified he has received death threats and still requires security daily.
More than 1,000 credit cards offer rewards, whether it's cash back, airline miles, or other special perks. How do you choose the best one for you? Tonight, Consumer Reports does the homework and crunches the numbers so you don't have to.
If you're in the market for a new credit card, why not make that card work for you? Like Alex Joyce, who travels a lot for work.
Having a credit card that has travel benefits is really helpful. For example, my American Express card gives me access to the airport lounge, which is pretty sweet.
What perks might work for you? Maybe you're feeding a family and grocery rewards would help. With the Blue Cash Preferred Card from American Express, you'll get 6% cash back annually on up to $6,000 in groceries. The Capital One Walmart Rewards Card pays 5% cash back on orders placed at walmart.com. The card has no annual fee and pays 5% cash back on in-store purchases for the first 12 months when you use your card with Walmart Pay. If most of your spending is gas and road trip charges, consider the ExxonMobil Smart Card Plus. It'll save you 12 cents a gallon on premium fuel and 10 cents on other grades. There's also the Wells Fargo Autograph Card. It charges no annual fee and offers an unlimited 3 points earned on each dollar spent on gas and at electric vehicle charging stations, plus other related travel charges.
If you're a Warehouse Club member, those can be great options too.
The Costco Anywhere Visa gives you 4% cash back on gas and EV charging, Plus, you get 3% back on restaurants, car rentals, airfare, hotels, cruise lines, and trips booked through Costco Travel. Sam's Club MasterCard gives up to $6,000 annually, plus 3% back on dining and takeout. Fans of Simon-owned malls, mills, and premium outlets might consider the Simon American Express card, which offers 5% cash back on purchases at its more than 200 locations.
It's never wise to carry a balance and pay high interest rates.
Smart, responsible spending can be the most rewarding perk of all.
The money is being spent on travel, so I might as well take advantage of the rewards.
And don't forget, it's not all about the rewards. Your current credit cards could have perks you're unaware of, like cell phone insurance, purchase protection, and car rental coverage.
A new corpse flower is set to bloom at the Missouri Botanical Garden. Its name is Millie, and it's expected to bloom between June 9th and 12th. If necessary, the garden will adjust its hours so as many people as possible get to see the bloom. It gets its name from the foul odor emitted from a tall spike of small flowers. The smell mimics rotting flesh to attract pollinators such as flies and usually lasts about 24 hours.
And so why do you want to smell that?
I don't understand that, but it draws so many people.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joined us now with that weather first forecast.
Here's the good news. It looks like it's going to be much less humid in that time frame here going into early next week when the corpse flower comes out. So at least it won't be stinky and humid. You know, you're only halfway there. All right, tonight, weather-wise across the area, this is just your usual ground clutter. All the showers we had from earlier, the scattered thunderstorms, all gone. We have a mostly cloudy to partly cloudy sky around St. Louis at the moment, and it's mainly just high, thick clouds. It's still mild. All of the metro areas above 70 degrees, 77 at Lambert. Dew points were close to 70 this afternoon, 0.15 of an inch in the rain gauge, and we hit 91 for the high. It felt like summer today. Still a little steamy heading into tomorrow. We may have another scattered shower or thunderstorm towards daybreak. Nothing on the radar now. The focus down to our south with thunderstorms across Louisiana and moving into Mississippi. And then we look to the north and west. We're waiting on a front to get through here. But until it clears our area, we stay in this warm, muggy air. And we also have a couple of little disturbances out to the west. They're not doing much right now across Kansas or Oklahoma, but they do drift overhead as we head into early tomorrow. And potentially as that happens, we see some isolated or scattered showers and thunderstorms try to develop towards daybreak. Again, at this point, there's not a lot of confidence on how much will develop during the morning hours, how widespread it will be, and then that's going to dictate part of what goes on later tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. Enough cloud cover tomorrow where we're in the mid-80s for highs instead of being closer to 90 or low 90s. And then tomorrow evening, we're waiting on the front. It'll still be in northwest Missouri. Out along it during the evening hours, there will be some showers and thunderstorms, but we're not overly confident that we're going to see a whole lot of that make it into St. Louis either before the front slides through. And then once that front south and east of us on Wednesday, the drier air starts arriving, and it's much less humid here as we head towards the end of the week. Temperatures back off a few degrees, back into the lower 80s here as we head towards Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There is a slim chance by Saturday and Sunday we'll have a chance at least for an isolated shower or thunderstorm. As far as tomorrow's severe weather threat, level 1 out of 5. Most of us not having to deal with that tomorrow. And if any of the storms were to get strong, we saw a couple of strong storms today, but they weren't severe. They had winds around 40 miles per hour today and some small hail. Tomorrow, maybe your winds are slightly stronger, but it's a big if. So, you know, we don't think there's going to be anything widespread as far as severe weather goes, and it's going to get really nice by the end of the week.
That sounds good to us.
That.
Yeah. All right, Scott, thanks.
Frank Zerva Sports.
The Cardinals were playing long ball against the Astros, but wasn't enough to give Houston a problem. We're playing hit and run with Larry Hughes, and Coach Drinkwitz came to town today.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
The best baseball rivalry I ever covered was the Astros and Cardinals in the mid-2000s. All those Hall of Famers, Albert and Yachty, Bagwell and Biggio, Tonight, the rivalry resumed in Houston, and it didn't have the result we wanted. Top one, speaking of Hall of Famers, Justin Verlander on the mound. Alec Burleson wasn't impressed. That's a howitzer. He homered last night, too. And so did Nolan Gorman. This is a bomb. 407 feet, and it's 2-0 Cardinals early. In the fifth, that man again, Gorman with a blast. His 13th of the season, his 5th since May 27th, which is tops in baseball. Now, the Cardinals bullpen was really good last night, but they got blasted tonight. Joe Romero gave up the game-tying homer to Alec Bregman first, and then the go-ahead homer to Yanier Diaz. The Astros win it 7-4. Finals of the Greenville Regional, East Carolina and Evansville, and this is Mark Schallenberger giving this one a ride. It's deep, it's gone, it's a 3-run homer. The Priory grad celebrates with his teammates as he gives Evansville the lead, and the Purple Aces hold on to win. They advance to the Super Regionals for the first time in school history. Somebody asked me today, what team in our region has the best chance to be elite for years to come? I said Mizzou football. Think about it. Recruiting, flushed with cash and name, image, and likeness, and recent success. They have it all. And the man orchestrating all of this is the head coach, Eli Drinkwitz. Coach Drink was in town today for the 39th annual John Cadillac Classic. It was at Bogey Hills, loaded with former Tiger greats and boosters. Coach is cleaning up in high school recruiting and in the portal. Now, he actually has a few weeks off at the end of June, or does he?
Well, it's still football related because you still got to recruit during the month of June. I'm going to sit at the beach and watch Twitter and text and make phone calls from the beach instead of my office.
Doesn't your wife lay down the law there?
She knows what's paying for the vacation.
The pay scales for NFL receivers just went up today. The Minnesota Vikings have given Justin Jefferson a 4-year deal worth $140 million. That's an average of $35 million a year, and $110 million is guaranteed. We often play hit and run with celebrities on Mondays. Larry Hughes was an All-American at SLU and had a 14-year NBA career. His godson is Jason Tatum. His son, Larry Jr., plays for SLU, and he also runs a basketball academy. He qualifies. Let's play. Toughest player to ever guard?
Kobe.
Best single moment in your career, high school, college, or pro?
Being drafted.
I bet you're going to say the 40 points against Marquette.
Being drafted was life-changing.
All right. Worst fan base to deal with in the NBA?
Oh, man, I think Utah.
What'd they say to you?
They were loud, and Utah's arena, they're right on top of you. And they would always have this guy that's behind the basket at the end of, in the second half, under our basket when we shoot free throws with bills, flags, anything that they can pull out.
Who would be more likely to pick up a check if you're out to dinner with them, Michael or LeBron?
MJ.
At what age did Larry Jr. start beating you in one-on-ones?
16. I think I didn't want to chase him around anymore, and he can really shoot it,
So he beat you and you retired?
Yeah.
At what age did Jason started beating you?
We never played, actually, but I'm assuming probably around that same age. He was really coming into his own, and you get to a point where if I'm not going to beat him up, he's probably going to beat me.
When is the last time you've dunked a ball?
Ooh, probably 4 years ago, maybe.
And you are how old?
45.
You can still dunk, right?
I can get up there. I don't know if I can get down.
Sum up your career. It's been one unbelievable journey.
My ultimate goal right now is to help fuel good young people into the space, allow them to experience basketball. But my journey with basketball was completely blessed. Didn't really set out to make it to the NBA per se, but the journey was definitely well worth it.
He's one of 4 to play with both Michael and LeBron, and I asked him, who would you take? And he said Michael.
Wow.
Yep.
I had so much fun covering him when he was a young player
He
with
was
SLU.
special, yeah.
All right, thanks, Frank. A big night in the prime time for St. Louis area athletes and, well, game show players. The locals exercising their minds and bodies on the national stage.
And the Susan G. Komen More Than Pink Walk is this coming weekend. It's Saturday, June 8th at 9 a.m. in Tower Grove Park, and our own Kay Quinn is emceeing. Money Ray supports breast cancer research, care, and support. To register, text Komen to 314-425-5355, and we'll send you a link.
Primetime went to the locals tonight, going from brawn to brains. It was the trifecta on American Ninja Warrior. 3 contestants from our area. Dylan Rubel of St. Charles, Sam Folson from Dorsey, Illinois, that's northeast of Bethalto, and Nikki Zink from Baldwin, all putting their skills to the test. Then on the weakest link, Derek Larson from Chesterfield competed. It was a pretty interesting night.
Always a St. Louis connection.
Yeah, there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Be sure to start your day with the Today in St. Louis crew. That starts at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.